Hi everybody and welcome to the second project. This will be the intermediate level project, and now let me go ahead and show you what we want to achieve together. So we start scraping this website, it's autolist.com, using the website's API. Okay, and here I want to search for Tesla cars in San Francisco. That means let me just go ahead and type in San Francisco. Choose the first result here, and then I want to type in Tesla. Okay, click on this first result, and now we are redirected to this result page. Okay, and we see here that all in all we have 20 different result items. What is actually interesting for us is the following. We want to scrape the model, the year, the pricing, the mileage, and also the name of the dealer. Okay, but you see here that now we don't see the dealer name, but once we get access to the API of the website, we will see inside this JSON object that we have access to the dealer name. Okay, and what is right now very important for us is to understand how this website is actually working. Therefore, we make a simple right click, click on inspect. Okay, then let's navigate to this network tab, and now make sure that you are inside this fetch/XHR tab. Okay, and again, XHR stands for XML HTTP request. And inside this interface, what we usually see is the network traffic and the requests of this website. But for now, we don't see anything. So sometimes you need to scroll until the bottom, until you see something which is useful for you. What I almost always do in my project whenever I want to scrape the website's API is the following. I scroll down all the way until the bottom. Let's do it. And you see here that the number of the requests actually increase. But for us, it's not enough. Now we go ahead and click to page number 2. Okay, and inside the second page, again, we want to scroll all the way down. Let's do it. Now let's clear all the results here by making a simple click on this button. So this is the clear button. Click on that one, and you see that all the results right now disappear. Go ahead and click again on page number 1. Okay, now we can again scroll a little bit down, and you see that now we have this request, and this is actually important for us. So how can I know this? Actually, when I prepared this video, I took my time and clicked through the responses. So actually we can do it together right now. So for example here, let's say I want to click on the first one. Now let's see how this is structured. Inside this headers, I have the request URL, I have this preview, and I have this response. And for example here, this is the request, and this is the response, and in this example, we don't have anything, okay? That's it. Then let's skip this one, because the second one is actually what we need. Let's go and proceed clicking to the third item here, okay? Again, we don't have anything valuable. Here we have something, okay? Let's click on preview. And here inside this preview tab, you have the possibility to take a look how your data can look like. Let's click on this arrow here. And again, we can't see anything which can be valuable for us. But now, let's go ahead and click on the second request. And here we have data, which is very useful right now. So is it this one? No. Is it the second one? Also no. Is it the third one? Let's take a look. Let's open this one. And here you see that we have 20 different items. Okay, so let me make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so here we have 20 different items, starting with item 0 all the way down until 19. Okay, then let's open up the first one. And you see here, for example, what do we have? We have information about the mileage, okay? And if we take a look at the first result item, we have 12,810 miles, which is exactly what we see here. What else do we have? We have the price of 40,950, which is exactly this price. Okay, so you can see here that this is actually what we need. Okay, and here inside this request, we have this possibility to take a look at the data structure. Okay, this is like always a JSON format. That means we have to work with key and value pairs. And we have also this response item here. In the next step, what we need to do is the following. We want to create this request from our notebook. Okay, that means directly from Python. How can we do this? Actually, we just will do the same what we have done in the basics section. We go and click inside this second request, but a right click, then go to copy, and then copy as curl. Okay, we have to click on this element here. Then we need to take a look how to convert actually this curl in a Python request. Okay, and again, what is a curl? A curl command allows you to create a network request from the command line, but since we want to make this request from Python itself and not from a command line, we need to use a curl converter. Okay, and we want to do it online. We don't want to use Postman. Actually, you can use Postman, but we don't want to use it for this project. And we want to make it online. That means I want to search for curl converter, and you just can click on the first Google item here, or Google result. And once you see this one, curl.trillworks.com, and especially this heading here, so convert curl syntax to Python, this is what we actually want to have. Okay, and I have already, or I can do it again, right click, copy as curl cmd, and then I want to paste it here. Okay, let me just paste it, Ctrl V, and here you see that finally we are able to convert this curl syntax, okay, to a Python request. Let me just click inside this element here, then Ctrl A to copy everything, then Ctrl A to highlight everything, then Ctrl C to copy the highlighted items. Okay, so everything what we see here. Then let's go back to our Jupyter notebook. And again, guys, I've prepared this notebook for you. And you see here, so actually I think you are right now familiar with this structure. You are able to download this initial or this blank template in the download section. And after we have created all our code, I also will provide the final template, okay, also inside this download section. So in order to save some time for us, I have, before I started recording this video, I've provided this, or I've created this notebook with all the necessary headings. That means we directly know what we need to do in the next step. Okay. For now, I will paste everything what we have copied from here. Okay. Paste it inside this cell. So Ctrl and V. Okay. And now let's see what we have here. So first we have the import statement. We want to import the requests library. We have information about the headers, about the parameters, and here we make a GET request, okay, and store the result inside this response variable. And since you know I want to have this import statement inside this first cell, that means I will cut this out here, paste it here, and in the next step, what I also want to do is I want to import the pandas library as PD, okay? And PD is actually the alias for pandas, okay? This is actually the common convention. Now, let me run this cell, remove these unnecessary lines. I will then run this cell, okay, and we don't see an error message. And what I also can do is I can remove this comment here, so we don't need it. Let me just remove everything here. Okay, this looks good. And now I can run this cell again. Okay, this is okay. And in the next step, I want to check the status code. That means I can just use this response variable. So response, run the cell, and now we see that we have 200. And 200 means we have successfully made an HTTP request, okay, to this website here. This is good. In the next step, we need to create the JSON object. Okay, again, we have key and value pairs. And once we have created this JSON object, we see all the information which is necessary for us, okay, from this website here. Okay, so for example, here inside this preview, we see all this information. Okay, and once we create the JSON object, we will see everything but from our notebook, from this interface here. That means I will go ahead and type in response.json. Okay, let's run it. And voila, you see that now we have all the necessary information here. And I will just go ahead and store this one inside a variable. So let's say it's result_JSON. Okay, let me run it. And now we have stored this JSON object inside this variable here. Okay, and once I want to print everything out, I can just refer to this variable. So it's results_JSON. And here we have what we need. So I will let it just open. Okay, because we need to look things up. Once we start scraping our data. Cool. Next, let's take a look what a data type this is. Okay, we can use the type function here. So type results JSON, and you will see that we have a dictionary. Again, we will work with key and value pairs. In the next step, let's output our keys. Okay, this is very important. Let me just show you. So here we have these different keys, okay? And inside the search_result key, we have the information which is actually necessary for us. Okay, so let me just go back. And I want to print out the keys of the JSON object. That means I use again this variable, results_JSON dot keys. Okay, then I run the cell, and you see here that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 different keys. Okay, and this is exactly what you actually see here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 different keys, and our necessary results are stored inside this search_results key. Okay, just keep it in mind. Okay, so I think for now this should be fine. I will make a pause here, and in the next video we are going to find our necessary data. Okay, so stay tuned, and I see you in the next video. Hello and welcome back to part number 2 of this intermediate level project. Now it's time to find actually our necessary data. Again, we start with the model. Okay, afterwards we want to get access to the mileage. Then we want to scrape the year. Afterwards the dealer name. And finally the price of the Tesla car. Okay, so this is it. And this is just a short comment section for us. Okay. Next, what we need to do is the following. We have actually 6 different keys. Okay, it's this 6 items here. And this here, search_results, is what is interesting for us. Again, let me show you. So here, within the preview tab, we have this 6 mentioned key elements. Okay, and inside this search results, we have what we actually are searching for. Okay, if we click on the item number 0 or to the first result, you see here that inside this first result we have all the necessary information regarding the first list element, which is this red Tesla here. Okay, that's it. That means inside our notebook I can just make use of the results JSON variable, and then since we have a dictionary, we have to work with key and value pairs. Okay, and we know these are our keys. I will just double click on search results, and here I want to make access of this key element. Sorry, it's not import. I don't know why this was copied. I wanted to copy this one. Okay, this here. Right click, copy, and paste it here. Right click and where is it? Paste. Yep, this is it. Run it. And now you see here that inside this list, so this is a list. Let me show you. So type of this one, close the bracket, run the cell. Here we have a list. Okay. And what we want to do now is the following. We see here that inside this first list item, we have stored the results of the first car. Okay. Then inside the next item, we have the results for the next, so for the second car. Okay. And all in all, we have 20 different result items. So let me just show you. I will copy this expression and put it inside a length function. Okay. Here you see that we have 20 result items, which is exactly what we see here. Inside this first page, we have 20 results. Okay. And this is actually great. Why? Because now we know that this here is our starting point. And since we have 20 results, what happens if I use this expression here? I've just copied it. So copy this one, go here to this cell, and then navigate to the index number 0. Okay, so this is the first result. We start counting from 0, run it, and voila, now we have the information just for the first result. And this is what we need. Okay, because once we have written down the logic for all data points for the first result, we can apply the logic for all the remaining result items. Okay, this is it. And since this here, actually I call this as a starting point. Okay, so this is the starting point for first, so for first result. Okay, so this is the starting point. And then if we scroll down, let's say I want to start with the model, okay, which is this one. I want to start with the model. Let me scroll down. Okay, and here you see that inside this model key we have the value which is actually interesting for us. That means I proceed, and inside the next square brackets I write down model, run the cell, and voila, now we have the model for the first car. And this is what we want to have. Okay, so next. The next thing is the following. Let me just take a look. We want now to get access to the mileage. Okay, so mileage is, where is the mileage? Let's scroll down. Mileage we have here inside this key. That means I can just, so maybe I can split it up a little bit. So I will copy that one, paste it here. And since this here is the starting point for the first result, I can just leave it like this, okay, because we can reference to it. And here inside the first data point, I can just comment model, because now we know that here we are searching for the model, which is model 3. Okay. Next data point is the mileage. So let me just replace model with mileage. And here we have the mileage key. Okay. Run this one and we get the result. of the first list item. Next, what we want to have is the year. Okay, let's see. Where is the year? Scroll down, search for it, and I see it here. It's inside this key element. Okay, so it's actually quite straightforward. I want to copy the cell, paste it here, and now we don't want to have the mileage but the year. And inside this key element I want to have this year. Okay, let's run it. 219, this is good. Then we have the dealer name. Let's see where we can find it. So the dealer name is this one. Okay, it's inside this key element. And again, so let me just show you the power of the API scraping. Here we don't see the name of the dealer. Okay, we just don't see it. But once we have accessed the JSON object, okay, we have a lot more information than that what we see here inside this interface. Okay, and we also want to scrape the dealer name. That means I want to make a double click, copy this key, go down, and actually first of all I want to copy this expression, so let me just paste it here. I will take it in a few seconds. Copy this expression, paste it here, and here I want to have the dealer name. I grab this dealer name key, cut it out, and paste it here. Okay, now we have successfully grabbed the dealer name. And finally we need to get the price, so copy that, paste it here, and now I want to have the price. Let's see where the price is actually stored. Let's take a look. So the price is this one. Okay, we have the price key, double click, copy that one, scroll down, and instead of the dealer name key I want to provide the price key. Run it, and finally we have the price point for the first result. Again, let's make a double check. 40,950, and this is actually this one, 40,950. You see here that now we were able to grab the 6 different data points for the first result item. Okay, so for this first car. And now in the next step what we need to do is we want to put everything together, create a for loop, and get this 6 data points not just for the first result but for all 20 results. Okay, this is what we want to do now. And again, this here is the major work. Right now, yeah, I know of course we need to create a for loop, but we need to reference to the steps which we have made in the last few minutes. Okay, at least this is my way of working. You could do this also a little bit shorter, okay, but since this is a tutorial, I want to go through each and every step, okay, very slowly, because once you have understood this whole concept, you will actually feel like a god if you proceed with your own next projects, because you know exactly what the initial steps are to be able to grab your information if you try to use a website's API. Okay, this is it. So I will pause the video now, and in the next video we want to create our for loop through all the results, because here we have just referenced to the first item, and we want actually to loop through all results, okay, and to append or to grab, to extract the appropriate data points for all 20 cars, okay, and this is what we will do in the next video. So stay tuned, and I see you in the next one. Hi everybody, and welcome back to video number 3 of this intermediate level project. Now we want to put everything together and extract the data for all 20 results. So in the last video we have extracted the results for this, we extracted the data for the first result, and now we need to find the logic in order to be able to loop through all results, okay, and to store all these 6 data points for each and every result. Okay, this is what we want to accomplish in the next step. So first of all, let's scroll up and let's see what we have here. We know that we have 20 different result items. Okay, so 20 different results or 20 different cars inside this result page. Okay, and what a very good point here is, as a short addition, I can actually store this one inside a separate variable, because this will then help us when we write our for loop. Now let's create a new cell. Okay, clicking on this plus sign, create a new cell, and let's provide this variable here, result underscore items, is this expression here. Okay, so copy that, paste it here, and of course you can leave it like this, but this will just make everything simpler, and we don't need to reference always to this key, okay, because everything will be stored inside this variable. Let's just run it, okay, and you can again make a cross check and use the length function, length result items, and you see here we have this 20 items here, which is exactly the same what we have here. Okay, now let me just cut it out, and here now inside this for loop we can go ahead and reference this result items list. Okay, and keep in mind that inside this list we have stored our 20 result items. Okay, so go back down. Now here in the cell, what I want to do, again, this is my personal approach, I want to create for each and every data point, which is this here. We have actually 5 different data points. For each and every data point, I want to create a separate empty list. Okay, then I want to loop through all the 20 results and append the data point for each and every result item inside this empty list. Okay, so I hope this doesn't sound confusing. So just be with me, and I promise this will make totally sense in a few seconds. So first of all, I create empty lists for each and every data point. I start with the model, then we have the mileage, afterwards we have the year, then we have the dealer name, and finally we have the price. Okay, and this is actually nothing new right now, because here we also extracted every mentioned data point, but just for one result. Okay, and now we need to loop through all results and append all data points for all 20 items. Let's do it. And again, don't get confused by this one. Here, a few seconds ago, we have provided this result items variable. Okay, and inside this variable, we have this expression, and you will see this expression inside, for example, inside this 5 cells. Okay, because in the last video we didn't work with the variable, because actually this was a demonstration how to grab the data for one list item or for one result. Therefore, the variable itself wasn't so important. But now, since we want to write our for loop, this variable will help us a lot. Okay, so let's go ahead. And now, once we have created our empty lists, let's write our for loop. So for result, and result is actually our iteration variable. So for result in result underscore items, what we want to do is the following. First, I want to provide a comment. So next time you open this notebook, or someone else will open it up, this person or you will directly know what this is about. So this is the model, and we want to append our result or the results inside this model list. Okay, so model.append result. Okay, this is our iteration variable from here. And now let's see how we were able to access the model in the last video. Here we have made use of this model key, which we have found, let me show you, inside this key element. Okay, this is it. So I will just copy that one. And this is why I told you before that the main work was actually done in the last video, because here we have grabbed the data for the first result item, and now we can reference to it once we want to create a data frame, or when we want to extract the data for all 20 results. Okay, so I've just copied this key, go back down, and here I will paste it in this place. That's it. Now let me run the cell. We don't have an error message. And now I want to print out the model list. Model. Let's run the cell. And voila, you see here that now we have 20 different results. Let's make a cross check and use the length function. Length, and here we have the model list. Run it. We have 20 items, which is completely fine, and this is what we want to have. Okay, again, we have created this empty list. Then we have looped through all result items. And when we have actually made our iteration, for each and every iteration, we have appended our result inside this model list. Okay, that's it. And this actually we need to do for all the remaining data points. That means we proceed with the mileage. Okay, and here I want to append something inside this mileage list. Let's take a look. We proceed with result because this is always our iteration variable. Okay, then let's scroll up and copy this key element here. Copy that one, paste it here. That's it. And for this, let's also make a short cross check. I run the cell, replace model with mileage, and let's see. Now we have successfully accessed this 20 mileage data. Okay, 20 is correct. And now let's make everything a little bit faster. And I want to copy this expression, paste it here. Now I replace mileage with year, and also this list element will be replaced with the year list. And here inside this key, for the year, we used, this year key element. Okay, copy that one and replace mileage with year. That's it. Next, we have the dealer name. Okay, what I can do now to save some time again, copy this expression, paste it here, and do the appropriate modification. That means we have the dealer name, replace the year with dealer name, and as a key we have this one. Okay, dealer underscore name. Copy that, paste it here, and finally, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we have the price, which is missing. So copy this expression. Sorry, once again. Copy that, Control C, Control V. Then we have as a comment a price. And let's replace this list with the price list. And here we need also to replace the key with this price key element. Okay, copy that, paste it here. Now let's remove all the unnecessary lines here. Okay, this looks fine. Let's run it. We don't have an error message. And now, for example, let's see what price data we have. Okay, so price. And again, we have 20 data points. So this looks actually quite good. And now what I want to do is I want to output all the results inside the pandas data frame. And this is why I have imported it inside this first cell and the second line. Okay, so we can just refer to PD. This is our alias. Let's scroll down again. And here I don't need the cell anymore. I can just cut it out. I create one new empty cell. And now I want, first of all, provide one variable for the data frame. So this is the Tesla data frame, okay? And here I use the PD, pandas, okay, pd.dataframe. And now we need to work with a dictionary. That means we have to put down a key and a value element, okay? And for the key, I will just provide the name of the column itself. So for example, for model, we want the column to be model. Then for mileage, we want to have the mileage, and so on and so forth. And then underneath, as the value elements, I want to provide the list with the new data. Okay, that's it. So first, our first key element is model, and our value element is the model list. Next, we have the mileage as the key value, and as the key we have the mileage, and our value is the mileage list, okay, which is this one. Cool. Next thing, we have the year. Number 4 is the dealer name, okay, and the value is the dealer name list. And finally, we have the price column, and here we provide the price list, okay. This is how we create the data frame. Let's run the cell, okay, and now let's output everything what we have created. So I will just create a new cell here, and now let's use the Tesla data frame, run the cell, and voila, you see that now we have all the 20 results, okay. Each row stands for one result here, okay, for example for the first car, and we can make a cross check. This is model 3, mileage is 12,810, okay, model 3, 12,810, price is 40,950, and we also have the year, okay, the year, where is it? It's here, 2019, and the dealer name, actually we don't see in the front, but we can see it inside our JSON object, okay, and this is the whole logic behind it. That's it. This is actually the data frame for all 20 results. And in the next step, what we can do, okay, actually I need to provide everything what we have done underneath this heading element, but this is not a big deal. I can just make a double click here, click on the arrow above, okay, 1 and 2. Okay, now I can run this cell. Then will look like this, and this is what we want. And for this here, I can just just cut it out. And finally, I want to store the data frame inside an Excel file. That means I use the Tesla_df variable, okay, Tesla_df.to Excel, it's this one. Here let's provide a name, let's say it's Tesla_single_page.xlsx, comma, and the index is false. We want to ignore the index. Okay, now let's run this cell. No error message, this is fine. And now make sure you open this folder where your notebook is stored. Okay, for me it's this one. And this is the file which was created a few seconds ago. Double click on this one. And let's see, here we have finally grabbed our data. Okay, so this is it. And this looks actually fine. And what we want to do now in the next step is we need to find a way to grab the data from multiple pages and not just from one page. So I mean, this here was the data from one page. And in the next video, we need to find out how to extract the data for 5 different pages, because we want to have 100 results and not just 20. Okay, so all in all, we have here 189 results, and the requirement for the next video will be the extraction of 100 results. That means we need to make use of the pagination and scrape the results from 5 pages. Okay, so this will be the requirement for the next video. Thank you very much for your attention, and I see you in the next one. Hi everybody, and welcome back to video number 4 of this intermediate level project. In the last video, we have successfully scraped the data for 20 results, and now we want to get access to 5 different pages, and all in all, 5 times 20, we want to scrape 100 results. Okay, this is the mission for this video. And you can see it actually as a separate task, more or less as a separate one, because now we actually need to start from scratch. So we want to scroll all the way up, okay? And this cell, we can just copy everything which is inside. Copy that, Control C. Okay, scroll all the way down again and paste it here. And why did we need to copy that one? Because now we need to understand how all this here is structured. Because again, when we have scraped the first page, we just had to copy this Python request and paste it here, and then we were able to work with this response variable, okay, which had the information of this first page. But now we want to grab 5 pages and not 1 page. So here we need to take a close look how everything is structured. And what is actually most important for us is inside this parameters, we have the page, okay, and here we have provided a 1. Now we know that this parameter here gives us the opportunity to scrape the results of the first page. But now we want to scrape page 1 until page 5. Okay, so page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means we need to find the logic in order to replace this number 1. Okay, and how we can do this is if we create a for loop. Let's make it here. Okay, so let's go ahead and write down for I in range 1, 6. Okay, then let's make sure we have indented everything properly. So we need to indent this one, highlight it, shift, okay, and here we can replace number 1 with this I, okay, so this is our iteration variable, and this one we need to cast inside a string, okay. So this is the way we want to make use of it. And for I in range 1, 6, that means we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, because number 6 is excluded, okay. This is the logic behind this syntax here. Now, if we loop through this, we have 5 different iterations. Again, from 1 to 5, 6 is excluded. And every time we start our new iteration, this I actually increases by 1, okay? And that means we have access to page number 1, then in the next iteration to page number 2, then to page number 3, to page number 4, and finally to page number 5. This is the logic. At least this is step number 1, okay? This header will remain the same, okay? We don't change anything. And here, before we start actually our first for loop, what we need to do is, again, we need to create 5 different empty lists, exactly the same what we have done here. Okay, so I will just copy it, and you will see that we can actually make use of almost everything we did in the last videos, which is actually great. So we have copied this 5 empty lists, scroll all the way down, paste it here. Okay, so first we want to create this empty lists, then we want to get access to 5 pages. Okay, this is it. And then in the next step, what we want to do is, since we have received the response or actually we have created this response variable, and inside this variable we have this GET request to the website, correct? And for each response, I actually want to create a JSON object. And we have actually also done it in the previous videos. And the most important variable here, what we need to use is this one. This here, okay, result_items is results_JSON and the search results. Okay, but first, before we do this one, we actually have created results_JSON. Let's scroll up and take a look where this is. So results.json is actually this variable here. Okay, again, keep in mind we have the response variable. Okay, here we create this JSON object and we want to store everything inside this results_JSON variable. That means I will copy this variable here, go all the way down. So I will paste it here, okay, this one. So, okay, so first I need actually to copy all the expression, not just this part. So give me 1 second. I need to copy this whole expression here, this whole line. Copy that, go back down, and now let me paste it here. Paste it, and I want to provide a comment. So actually next time when you open your notebook, you will know what this was about. So this is the response variable for the GET request. Okay, here we have created the JSON object. Okay, again, response variable. And for this response variable, we want to create our JSON object and store everything inside the results_JSON variable. Okay, this is it. And now, once we have access to the JSON object, we want to get access to our result items. Okay, as you can remember, inside this response.json, we have for each and every page 20 result items. Okay, again, we have 20 cars here inside this page. And let's see how we used to manage it in the last videos. So let's scroll up and let's find the correct step here. So let me give me just 1 second. I need to search for it. So it was actually this one. Okay, here we had stored all the result items. Copy that, go all the way down, paste it here. Okay, and now let me just provide a comment here, result items, and in brackets 20 items for each page. Okay, and this is actually crucial. I hope this is not confusing right now. Again, you need to see it, let's say, as a separate project, because now we need to modify the steps from the last videos where we just needed to grab data from one page. Now we have 5 pages, and again we need to write a for loop through 5 different pages, and for each and every page we need to make a request, store it inside the response variable. Then we need the response variable to create our JSON object, store it inside the results_JSON variable. Okay, and inside this results_JSON variable, we need to get access to the search_results key, because we have seen previously that inside this key here, we have our result, our 20 results for each page. Okay, and this expression will be stored inside this variable here. Okay, this is it. And this also should be inside this for loop. And now, once we have accessed the result elements, okay, which is 20, we need again to loop through each and every result and append the data points inside this empty lists. Okay, so this is actually almost exactly the steps which we have accomplished here, when in the last video we needed to scrape the data from one page. That means I can make use of this code snippet, Control C to copy everything, go back down, and now I need to paste it here. So let's take a look. It's this one. This is our second for loop. Okay, and everything what comes underneath needs to be indented. So highlight everything and then shift. Okay, and everything we have inside this second for loop can actually remain the same. Okay, and this is actually it. So this was our modification in order to scrape data from 5 pages instead of just 1 page. So let's see if this works, and I run this cell here. So let's cross our fingers and let's go. Now it can, okay, it was faster than expected. Let's scroll down and voila, we don't have an error message, which is actually a first good sign. Now what we need to do is we want to create our data frame, exactly the same what we have done here. Okay, let's copy this cell, back down, okay, create one new cell, paste it here, and now let's just modify this name. So Tesla underscore multiple underscore data frame or DF. Everything else can actually remain the same. Okay, let's run this one. Nice. And finally, I want to output this Tesla multiple data frame. And actually, this I need to put an L here. Multiple. Run it again. Then let's make use of this variable here. So Tesla multiple df is this one. Let's print this out. And guys, now you see that we have 100 rows or 100 result items. Okay. And this is actually what we wanted to have. This was our goal. And in the next step, what we want to do is the following. As always, we want to save this data frame inside an Excel. That means I've copied this line here. Control C, go here, Control V to paste it. Dot to Excel, this one. Then let's provide one new name. Let's say Tesla underscore multiple underscore pages dot xlsx, comma, index is false. We want to ignore the index. That's it. Let's run the cell. Okay, no error messages. Then again, open up this folder where your notebook is stored. For me, it's this one. And I have actually made a typo again. Okay, so it's multiple. Okay, and now let's run the cell again. Okay, and now this is the updated file here, this one. Okay, double click on this. And now we see that now we have access to 100 rows or to 100 cars. Okay, guys, and look at this. Look at this. We have 100 results. This is what we wanted to have. Okay, this is it. Cool. So this was actually the second intermediate project, or sorry, the second project, which was the intermediate level project. Okay, and now we are done for this one. And let's just make a short wrap up of what we have accomplished together inside this project here. So first of all, we have taken a look how to create a request for a specific website inside Python. Okay, so we have taken the curl command, okay, and we needed to convert it with a curl converter online, and the result, what was actually converted, we have copied and pasted it inside the cell here. Okay, we had these headers, these parameters, and the get request, which was essentially stored inside this response variable. Okay, then we actually went ahead and checked the status code. Then we created our JSON object. Okay, that means we had to work with key and value pairs. Afterwards, we have printed out all the keys, okay, of this JSON object. And we actually knew that our results are stored inside this key here. That means we had to create or take a look what is inside this key, okay? And we have seen that now we have 20 different result items which is correct because in each and every page we have 20 different results. Okay, next we wanted to make access or to get access to the first result. That means we needed to work with index number 0. Again, we had 20 results. That means we have a list and we want to get access to the first result here. And now here you see that we have all the information which is actually interesting for us. Let's say we have the model, the year, and so on. The price, we had actually 5 different data points. Okay, this was it. Now in the next step, we wanted to make sure that we are able to grab each and every data point for the first result. Okay, that means again here we have worked with index number 0, and here inside this key we wanted to extract the data which is necessary. For example, here inside this model key, let's take a look again. So where is it? It's here, model key. Inside this one we had this value, which is actually what we want to have as our data point. Okay, and the same applied for the remaining data points like mileage, year, dealer name, and the price. Okay, next, since we knew that we are able to extract all the data, we wanted to put everything together inside a for loop. Okay, and extract the data. And we wanted to extract the data for all 20 items. Okay, so not just for the index 0 or the first result, but for all 20 results. And since we knew that inside this result underscore variable we have stored our 20 results, we just could write down a simple for loop with this result iteration variable and append each and every data point inside our empty lists. Okay, that's it. Afterwards we have created a data frame, and inside the data frame we needed to provide a dictionary. That means we have a key and we have a value. This key here is actually the heading, which is this one. Okay, and the value, this is the list which was created. And you see here the results of the lists should be appended underneath this heading. Okay, this was actually the logic. Afterwards, when we have created our data frame, we had to proceed and store everything inside an Excel file. That means we have made access, we have used the toExcel function. Here we have provided the name of the file and we wanted to ignore the index. Okay, and this statement actually helped us to generate this Excel file here. That's it. Afterwards, one step further, we don't want to get access just for one page, but we want to get access to 5 different pages and store 100 results, because in each and every page we had 20 results and 20 times 5 is 100. Okay, that means we had to provide all the Python requests from the beginning of this notebook. We had to copy this cell here, then go all the way down, and then we needed to check the logic behind this request. And we have actually seen that here we had number 1. So let's scroll up again. Here we have page and number 1. And this parameter actually enables us to extract the data from one page. But since we want to get the data from 5 different pages, here we had to write our for loop, okay, for I in range 1, 6, and 6 is actually excluded. That means we have right now access to page number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and this is our iteration variable for this for loop. We needed to cast it inside a string function. Okay, this was the logic. And then for each and every page, we had to make a GET request, store it inside this response variable. Then we needed to create a JSON object, store it inside this variable. Okay, and we know that inside our JSON object, we have this search underscore results key where our 20 results items are stored. And this result items we needed to store inside this variable. Afterwards, we just have copied the code snippet from the last video, which is this one. And here, what we have done is the following. We have just looped through all 20 results and appended the data points inside this empty lists. Okay, and here actually we have copied and pasted the snippet. Okay, it was pasted here. And actually here also we had to loop through 20 items. And why 20, not 100? Because we had actually to loop we needed to provide a for loop for each and every page. And actually we had 5 pages, okay? So you need to imagine it like this. Here we have page number 1. We have the results of page number 1. And then we want to loop through the first 20 items and store everything inside these lists, okay? Which were created here. Then for I in range 1,6, the next iteration, we start with number 2. That means now we have access to the second page and also to the next 20 items. And here we want to loop through the next 20 items, okay? That means in the first result, or in our first for loop, we had access to the first 20 results, in the second for loop to the next 20, which is 40. Then when we have iterated the third time, we had 60 results, then 80. And finally, in our last iteration, which is iteration number 5, we had access to the last 20 results. Okay, and 5 times 20 is 100, which makes totally sense because here, after we have actually created our next data frame, now we have here our 100 results. And this is actually the whole logic behind it. Okay, and finally, we wanted again store this data frame, okay, this data frame inside an Excel file, which is actually this here. And this is it, guys. This is it. So this was actually the demonstration of the intermediate project. Again, thank you very much for your time, for your attention. And as always, if you have any kind of questions, please let me know in the discussion area. And I try to get back to you as soon as possible. Okay, thank you very much. And I will again provide the initial template and also the final template here inside the download section.